Hello, my name is Ricardo Vila-Roger, and I'm a local Pittsburgh theater artist. And some of y'all might recognize me. I have done a few works with Prime Stage, including I was in the production of The Giver in 2016, and last year I directed their production of In the Time of Butterflies. And I am excited to read a book to you all, a short children's book about one of my favorite artists. His name is Jean-Michel Basquiat, and he's just one of my favorite artists. He had some beautiful work, but his life and my life had a lot in common. So his mother was Puerto Rican, and my mom was Puerto Rican. I'm wearing the shirt for y'all with the flag. His mom encouraged him in his art all of his life, and so did mine. His mom had to go away for a while to a hospital, and he had to live without her for a while. I did too. And he grew up to become a professional artist, and so did I. So his life has always been an inspiration. So I wanted to read this book for y'all, and I hope it's as inspiring for you as it is for me. So the title of the book is Radiant Child, the story of young artist Jean-Michel Basquiat by Javaka Steptoe. Somewhere in Brooklyn, between hearts that thump, double Dutch and hopscotch, and salty mouths that slurp sweet ice, a little boy dreams of being a famous artist. In his house, you can tell a serious artist dwells. He sits at a table with pencils scattered everywhere. Jean-Michel draws from morning until night with a serious face amid a storm of papers. He refuses to sleep until he has created a masterpiece. At night, images enchant Jean-Michel's mind, and he wakes from his dreams to add one more line. His drawings are not neat or clean, nor does he color inside the lines. They are sloppy and ugly and sometimes weird, but somehow still beautiful. His art comes from his mother, Matilde, a Puerto Rican woman who designs and sews, cooks and cleans, and makes the house look like a stylish magazine. But most important, she lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel on his father's old work papers. From her, he learns that art is not only in the poetry books she reads to him or in the theater and museums they visit. Art is in the street games of little children, in our style and the words that we speak. It is how the messy patchwork of the city creates new meaning for ordinary things. While visiting the museum, they look at his favorite works of art, reading the story behind each artist, reading the story behind each work. This is how Jean-Michel learns what it means to be a famous artist. Back at home, he creates art on the floor as his father Gerard plays jazz records and Mama Matilde cooks arroz con pollo and calls Jean-Michel mi amor. And the energy and life of the city can be felt in each line of his drawings. As time goes by, Jean-Michel learns that art has a healing power. After a car accident, he's scared and confused, and Matilde gives him a book to calm his fears. And it's filled with pictures of bones, skulls, and other body parts. Jean-Michel draws from it until he knows it all by heart, and he's no longer afraid. Back at home, Jean-Michel's body heals, but his heart breaks. His mother's mind is not well, and the family breaks. She no longer lies on the floor and draws with Jean-Michel, but she sits by the window singing only to birds. Jean-Michel is confused and filled with a terrible blues when Matilde can no longer live at home. He tries drawing the terrible out of his blues, but things are not the same. As Jean-Michel grows older, he visits his mother when he can, always bringing his artwork to show telling her that one day it will be in a museum when I am a famous artist. A teenager now, Jean-Michel decides, Papa, I will be a very, very famous artist one day. With a sly look and a twinkle in his eye, Jean-Michel leaves Brooklyn for New York City, the Lower East Side, a concrete jungle where only the tough survive. During the day, dressed in a green jumpsuit splattered with paint, Jean-Michel stays with friends, sleeping on couches and floors, leaving a barrage of collages and poem-filled papers everywhere he goes. At night, Jean-Michel spray paints the walls downtown with poems and drawings that catch the eye of artists, gallery goers, and passerby. Under his art, he signs the name Seymour instead of Jean-Michel. Everybody wants to know, who's Seymour? Well, Seymour moves from street corners to art gallery walls with powerful color, composition, and line, collaging and painting on anything he can find. His art? Still not neat or clean, and definitely not inside the lines. But somehow, still beautiful. With his magical charm, Jean-Michel draws a crowd. But when it's time to work, he prefers to be alone with the radio and TV on full blast. Now, in expensive suits splattered with paint, he flips through stacks of magazines and open books and paints into the night, and sometimes for days at a time while sounds and images jump into his head. Jean-Michel, an artist among artists, never doubts one line, creating from a soundtrack that's all his own. The people describe him as radiant, wild, a genius child. But in his heart, he's king. So he draws crowns for himself and others he admires. A grown man now, with the art world in his hands, Jean-Michel still visits his mother when he can. And at his most important shows, above all the critics, fans, and artists he admires, the place of honor is his mother's, a queen on a throne. He is now a famous artist. The end. Thank you all so much for listening. If you are inspired by this story, I encourage you to Google Jean-Michel Basquiat and learn more about this amazing artist and whose life was taken when he was far too young. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you are all well and you are taking care of yourselves. Much love.